Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. We're going to do an unsleeving today of a new arrival. C3i magazine number 34. This contains the game Battle for Kursk from Trevor Bender, and it's my understanding that this is a derivative of the hallowed Battle for Moscow system, but it's a bit bigger as I recall, so we're going to take a look at that. But let's open her up and see what we got. I feel like I'm like the last person to get this. As usual, it's really the magazine that I'm after. Not so much the included game, but the included game is always nice to have. So let's set those aside for a moment. There's some very interesting articles in here. So let's see. Looks like we got 60-some pages. 68 pages total. Typical C3i magazine, very nice stock. There's an article by James Dunnigan, which is very interesting. One of the things that said, I guess I gotta have this. One of the things that led me to say that. Looks like it's a career retrospective. Looks like a fairly beefy article as well. This is not a short article. One of the nice things about C3i is doesn't hesitate to do big articles. Here's a developer's look back at 20 years of the Great Battles of History series by developer Alan Ray, which is pretty great. I definitely want to read this, and I'm hoping that there's some goodies in here about upcoming things in the Great Battles of History series as well. Infantry Offensive Tactics in Fields of Fire Part 2. By the designer Ben Hull. The Hunters, C3i Expansion Pack number 1. Yet another one of these things that caused me to buy this. I think there's a new sub in here. And maybe something else. We'll find out in a minute. This is basically the rules, it looks like, for the expansion pack. The Battle of Agrigentum, 262 BC. I could swear that this battle has appeared elsewhere. Is this C3i Renaissance? It's the third in C3i GBOH Renaissance series after Dertosa and the Po River. Okay. I thought there was a scenario for Agrigentum already, but it's possibly not. And there's quite a bit on it here, which is cool. Always worthwhile for the GBOH stuff. Cleo's Corner, this is Mark Herman's column, Designing Unbalanced Games or How to Create Strategic Surprise. This ought to be good reading as well. And as you can see, this is not a short article either. Operation Matador. And it looks like Mark's own designs are providing a lot of the examples here, which is totally fine, since I have all of the games that I see pictures of. Undaunted Normandy, walking in the footsteps of the U.S. 30th Infantry Division by its designer, David Thompson. So that's cool. Oh, look at this. Here's France 1944, the Allied Crusade in Europe. So this is one of those things where Roger's breaking away a little bit from GMT House Organ. This is a title from Compass. This is a new version of the Victory Games France 1944 that was released by Compass, I want to say relatively early in 2020. And this is by Judd Vance, who is the developer of the game, and I believe Mark's biggest fan. And here's an OCS article. I mean, boy, by Steve Carey with Peter Mogensen. So there's a lot of good-looking articles in here. Here's something from Harold Buchanan. Looks like it's the start of a regular column. Looks very interesting, with diagrams and all this stuff. So this should be very interesting. We'll take a look. There's a lot of good stuff here. Here's an interview with the late Chad Jensen by Sam Sheik. Looks like it's 3 pages as well. Here is a opening strategy article for the game Waterloo, the Waterloo campaign, which appeared in Was it the previous issue of C3i or the one before that? One of the two. There's quite a bit there. Drop Zone Southern France by Daniel Fournier. This is for... okay, it's for a game that's currently on P500 with, I think, GMT. This is actually a fairly interesting topic, and it's not been considered historically the most gameable topic. This is I think it's called Operation Anvil, which is the amphibious invasion of southern France that happened in August of 1944. The best of my recollection, Operation Dragoon is what it turned out to be. It was, I think, at one point called Anvil. And there's some notable battles that occurred down there, but overall it was a lot of the Allies advancing rather quickly. So this is potentially interesting as well. Post-Cold War, the making of the post-Cold War world order by VPJ Arponen. So this looks pretty good as well. And we have, this is a page and a half, and then we have France 1944 errata, which is interesting that C3i would include this. And then we have the counter sheet manifest. So let's look at all of the various goodies that we get here. Look at the counter sheet last, since I won't know what to make of it unless we look at all this stuff. So here's Battle for Kursk. It is a 16-page rulebook, lavishly illustrated. I'm already hearing good things about the game. It is a simple, straightforward, introductory class game. But the map is a full-sized, approximately 24 by 23 by 34 map. So that's nice. Looks like it's got all the relevant tables that you need on the map itself. Looks nice. Looks compact. Well, I don't want to say compact because it is a full-size map, and it's the kind of thing that you might have been able to fit on a smaller sheet. But if everything's on here, then everything's kind of nice and tight in one spot on the map. Optional odds markers for Kursk. The Tigers are burning. Yeah, so if you want to use these, you got to cut them out and mount them yourself. I don't mind using stuff like this, but I'm not going to cut that out and mount the counters myself, that's for sure. Oh, and there's a whole other game here called Firebase Vietnam, by the way. The rules of which are, and the board of which I believe is right here. And I believe this has been described to me as Vietnam Yahtzee, which is entirely plausible. So that's interesting. Mo at Mo's Game Table has done some video on that if you would like to see it. And here's our SPQR Deluxe scenario for the Battle of Agrigentum. Here's the simple GBOH version of that. Here is our two new subs for the Hunters. The Type 11 Cruiser and the Type UA. Is one of these the weird aircraft carrier sub? Might be, maybe. Well, this one is definitely hypothetical, available August 1940. So I don't know. And then we get what looks like a poster. This is interesting. 60 plus years of war games, historical conflict board games, story evolution through 250 games. So a whole bunch of games from SPI and Avalon Hill and GMT, and I see New England Simulations here, and Columbia Games, and Phalanx, and games that I don't recognize the publisher for, and 3W. So a lot of interesting stuff here. Many, but not all of which have Roger's art on the cover. And then we get the counter sheet. So what it looks like is that a little over half of this counter sheet is stuff from the Kursk game. So all this is largely, it's on the thicker stock, It's largely looks like 7/16 counters, something like that. They don't look like 5/8 to me. So these counters are for the C game that appeared in a couple issues ago. I don't know if these are replacements or if these are just additional counters. But I didn't see anything for a C, so that makes it sound like they're replacements. Here's 2 replacement tiles for Imperial Struggle. Here's our stuff for Agrigentum. Here's our stuff for the Hunters. There's some, what looks like errata counters for Deluxe Dark Valley and some stuff for the People. What's with the yellow stripes? Additional cavalry leaders. That's what it looks like. And here's our counters for Firebase Vietnam. And some stuff for the Dark Sands and for No Retreat France Poland, which I no longer have. I managed to trade it away. The only No Retreat game that I still... Oh, and here's some stuff for Stalingrad 42, which I definitely will need. So, cool. All right, so that has been a look into and through the latest C3i, and it's pretty recent. It just started shipping a couple of weeks ago, and it just got delayed on my end because of the post office delays. So this is a pretty new issue of C3i magazine at this point. So I wouldn't expect to see another one probably until sometime next year. So this is C3i magazine number 34. If you have enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment if you have any questions, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support the channel, there are links to the Patreon and the merch store in the video description, so check those out. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time, happy wargaming.